Hi guys, how are you? I'm good. This is Jarsos Lectures. By this video, I bring you one very important topic, which is about introduction to CSS or introduction to cascading style sheet. Before proceeding my lecture, if you are new to my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe my channel, to like my videos, and to share the channel link and the videos link with your friends. When I directly proceed, the lesson is about introduction to CSS or cascading style sheet. It is the lessons of a very important lesson of web programming. Let's directly proceed. Within this video, we are going to see those points. Introduction to CSS. What does CSS means, or for what purpose we use CSS? And it is syntax how we can use. This CSS is cascading style sheet. It stands for, look, CSS stands for cascading style sheet. And it is implemented on HTML files. It is implemented and designed on HTML files. I mean that, as I have already done many videos, we have seen different HTML files, different HTML tags. HTML file uses HTML tag. Those tags is used to create, look, used to arrange or define the contents of web page. We can define an element. We can define an element on the web browsers by HTML tags. This is what we have already seen. Those elements can be header element, can be image element, can be video element, can be audio element, can be image element, can be table, can be hypertext or hyperlink, can be list. Each of the elements, each of the HTML elements are defined by what? By HTML tag. This is what can be done by HTML. But here, CSS or cascading style sheet is, look, but all presentations, formatting like that, so fonts, colors, background color or background image, border, text formatting, link effect, and the many other formatting is what? Left for CSS. This CSS or cascading style sheet is used to format or used to change formats of HTML element, which is already defined by what? By HTML tag. The content is, look, what you have to bear in mind here is that 2 points are there. 2 points are there. The first point is HTML element is defined by HTML tags in web page or in the web browsers, which we can say. And the formats of the defined element. Formats of the element which is defined by HTML file is done by CSS. This is the purpose of why we use cascading style sheet. It is used to format, or we can say simply for purpose of decoration. To format, to present, look, the presentation or formatting, for example, changing fonts, it can be font size, font type, font color, colors, background, can be background image, can be background color, borders, text formatting, link effect, and many of the formatting is what? Done by the CSS. Why we use cascading style sheet is to format HTML element which is already created by HTML files or HTML tags. Let me recall again. Bear in mind, please. HTML elements are defined by HTML tag. I mean that elements can be header, can be hyperlink, can be table, can be frame, can be image, can be audio, can be video, can be paragraph. Many HTML elements are there. They are defined by HTML tags. And it is formats, it is decorations, it is style is what? Done by CSS. Look, for example, they were, for example, the elements, for example, the HTML elements are used, for example, to say, to display, this is my header, to display this one on the web browsers, this is my paragraph, to display this one on the web browser, this is my table, to display this one on the web browsers. By using tags like, look, header 1, paragraph, table, and many HTML tags are there. Tags are used to define element on the web browsers, and it is format. Bear in mind, this is why we use CSS. Cascading style sheet is used to format the element which is already created by HTML. Definitions of HTML element on the web page, on the web browser is done by HTML files, which can be done by HTML tag, and it is formats like that. So different decoration, fonts, colors, background, and the borders, text formatting. Each of them are those formats are what can be done by CSS. This is the purpose why we use CSS or cascading style sheet. Let us see it is syntax. It is syntax. This CSS or cascading style sheet rule has two main parts. The first one is selector, and the left two one is declarations. The first two parts are there in the CSS rules. The first one is selector, and the other one is what? Declaration. Declaration can be 1, can be 2, can be 3, can be 4. Let us see what does it mean by selector. Selector is normally the HTML element we want to style. The HTML element we want to format. The HTML element which we want to change some of its attributes or some of its property. This is what we call selector. An HTML element can be there. Look here. H1 can be body, can be paragraph, can be many can be table. The HTML element can be image. The HTML element which we want to change its property, which we want to change its attribute is what we call selector. Selector is normal HTML element we want to style. And the other one is declarations. Declaration contains property and the value. Look here. Each declaration consists of property and the value. What does it mean property? Properties is style attribute you want to change. Style attribute. For example, if you look here, header 1, here we are going to, here now this one is selected is header 1. We want to change or we want to style this header 1. Header 1 is defined by HTML element. Then within style sheet, we can change its color, font color, background color, font type, font size. We can change for header 1. Now header 1 is selected. Then here within declaration, what property we are going to change? Color. Color is now property. Here blue is it is values of this color. Values of this color. That means we want to change the color into blue. We can use green, we can use yellow, we can use red here. Value means, look, each property has value, which look here. Value means to what we are going to change that property. For example, font size. Here, 1, 2 is as a value. This is what syntax of CSS looks like. Syntax of CSS has two main parts, or CSS rules, CSS definitions has two main parts. The first part is selector, and the other one is declarations. Declaration can be 1, can be 2, can be 3, can be 4, and then more. This is what it is syntax looks like. It is this syntax is look selector, property, value. So we have seen now selector, property, value. As we have seen now in diagrammatic representation. Now in image format is this selector. Look here. Selector here is H1. Here declaration is property, and the value is as declarations. This declaration can be 2, can be 3, and more. Selector is normal HTML element, as I have already said. HTML element we want to change, we want to define other property or other attribute for it, or change its attribute. HTML element we want to change its attribute is what we call selector. Properties attribute we wish to change, and each property has a value. Look here, the very important point that you have to bear in your mind is that the property and the value are separated by a colon. Look here, colon. Look here, colon. Not semicolon. Colon is for separating the property and the value. Look here, property is color, and the blue is it is value, they are separated by colon. Look, property and the value are separated by colon and they surrounded by curly brace. Look, now this one body, this body is selector, and within curly brace we have to define property. Property, this is color is property, and the black is the value. Black is the value, mostly in case of body. If I use it as background, it is good. Background, body background. Then look, note here, if the value is multiple word, if the value of property, if the value of property is formed from multiple word, we put them in quotes around the value. Look here, font family, this is a property, colon, then these values come from two words. So now here we have to put them in quotes. And the other one, to specify more than one property, we must separate each of them by semicolon. Look here, H1 color blue, then font size 1, 2. If you have more than one declaration, look, to specify more than one property, or to if we have more than one declarations, we have to use semicolon in between them. This semicolon specifies terminations of one declaration. This is the point, bear in mind. Semicolon means terminations or the indices of one declarations. We have to specify, or we have to separate them by semicolon if you have more than one declarations. Okay, look here, for example, P, text align center. P is HTML element or paragraphs, to define paragraphs within web browsers or within a web page. Then text align. The contents of P tag have to be aligned at the center. This is one declarations. Look, this is one declarations. Then by separating them by semicolons, color red. Colors of the paragraph, colors of the contents of the paragraph also should be red. Look, they are separated by semicolon. Using semicolon at the end, if we have multiple declarations, is mandatory. Otherwise, we can't identify, or the browser can't identify the index of the declaration. This is the point why we use semicolons in between two or more or multiple declarations within CSS rules. And then the other thing is concepts of grouping. Grouping means we can group many HTML elements. We can group many HTML elements, and we can give them, we can style them together. Look, we can group selectors. Selector means actually, as I have already said, it is HTML element. We want to style HTML element, which we want to format, is what we call selector. Selector is HTML element. Let me recall again. Selector is HTML element we want to format. Then by separating each selector with comma, look here, header 1, header 2, header 3, header 4, header 5, header 6, and also table. Each of them are selector now. They are HTML elements. H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, tables. Then if you have all of those HTML elements, look here, color green. The colors of each of them is, we are going to make, or we are going to change colors of each of them to be green. We can make it black, we can make it red, we can make it yellow. So by this means way of grouping. We can group selectors, and then we can style them together by one style sheet. This is what grouping means. And then the other thing is concepts of CSS comment is there. This CSS or cascading style sheet can have a comment like that of another languages, like that of HTML or hypertext markup language, like that of other programming language, like that of C++ and the Java. CSS can have also comment. Comment means the text which is ignored by browsers. In in our case, in case of this style sheet language, comment means the text which is ignored by browsers, and its purposes used to tell what other text means, what other program means. For example, look here, this is comment, this is now comment. Or for example, here, let me say here also, this is paragraph, this is paragraph. Look, this is paragraph. It is telling us what these lines of code means, but it is invisible for the browsers. It is invisible for the browsers. Like other programming language, we can use comment in C++ programming language. We can use comment in Java programming language. For case of C++ programming, it is invisible for compiler. The purpose of using it is for providing the reader what the code means. This is the purpose why we use comment. In our case here also, in case of CSS or cascading style sheet also, comment is the text which is ignored, which is invisible to the browsers, which is invisible to web browsers, and we use it for the purpose of what other text means. It provides the reader what other text or what other programs or what line of code means. This is the purpose of using CSS comments. And one thing I want to tell you is that before finalizing this one, we can write CSS files. These CSS files or these cascading style sheet files can be written in any text editor. In any text editor like that of HTML, we can write by any text editors. Before finalizing a summary, this is about CSS. This video is about CSS. We have seen what CSS means. It is CSS is implemented on HTML. We have to have this point in our mind. We have to build this one in our mind. This without HTML element, CSS can do nothing. This is the point. By the way, without HTML tags, without HTML files, CSS can do nothing. CSS can't define anything on the web browsers. We can't define anything. We can't define any element. We can't define any content to web browser by CSS. Rather, we use CSS or we use cascading style sheet for purpose of formatting the element which is already defined by HTML. This is the purpose why we use CSS. CSS is for purposes of formatting, for purposes of decorating, which you can say, for purposes of changing different formats of the elements which is defined by HTML files, specifically which is defined by HTML tag. HTML elements are defined by HTML tags. Now purpose of cascading style sheet is to format the element which is already defined by HTML tags. And we have seen many points why we use the purpose of using HTML element, what this syntax looks like, what this declaration looks like, what is selector, it is comment, and then we have seen all those. This is all what I have. Before finalizing, if you are new to my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe my channel, to like my video, and then to share the channel link with your friends. And also, if you have a question, if there is a suggestion, if there is any unclear idea, you can raise by putting it or by writing it down on the comments of this video. Thank you for your time. Bye.